Without education in your life, you can't do anything. You can't get a job. You're not literate. You're not numerate. You don't have the skills to enter society in a powerful manner.
Hey, Dr. Bill here. So another exciting chapter in our Meet the Mentors. I have with me a true mentor, friend, family friend, and a woman that I've known and loved for 10 years. This is Kim Feinberg, who is now married, and her new name is?
Dobrin.
Wow, fancy schmancy. So let me tell you the story. I was on a TV show called Extreme Makeover at the time on ABC, and Kim runs a foundation called Toomorrow Trust in Johannesburg, South Africa. And the function of Toomorrow Trust is to literally raise kids. If you're an orphan or a vulnerable child in South Africa, you get basically zero assistance from the government. I mean, you can be 5 or 6 years old and you're literally on your own. And if you have 3 or 4 siblings, you are actually head of the household at 5 or 6. And so what Toomorrow Trust does is it raises these kids. It gives them food and shelter and clothing and gets them in school. The only caveat is, in order to stay active in Toomorrow Trust, you must stay in school. If you drop out of school, they won't help you. And in a country where more than 60 to 70% of the students that start university don't finish, they have almost 100% success rate in students not only graduating the university, but then going on and giving back to Toomorrow Trust. So Kim was on a mission to raise money for Toomorrow Trust. She reached out to my publicist at the time, asking if Eva Longoria could come to South Africa and help raise money for Toomorrow Trust. Well, Eva was in the middle of filming Desperate Housewives and wasn't able to take a week away. And so they gave Kim the client list and said, well, who else on here would you like? And she said, the dentist. And so I get this random phone call from Kim. I'm like, why would you pick me over Eva Longoria or any of these famous people? She said, it's not about fame. It's about who's going to raise more money. And we went to South Africa and hit it out of the park, didn't we, Kim? I mean, I told her, I said, when I'm there, you work me the whole time. I'll do radio, I'll do TV, I'll do whatever. And we raised about 300,000 Rand in their country in about a little bit less than a week, which I think is probably more than any other celebrity that's come. And we did some really cool things. Like we had the whole dental community come and we did a seminar for dentists, and all that money went to Toomorrow Trust. And then we brought my book, $1 Billion Smile, and we sold these, and then all that money went to Toomorrow Trust. And even more importantly is we got the dentist there to commit to giving a day in their office once a year where they would just treat kids from Toomorrow Trust and do free dentistry. And many of them are still doing that, right? So thousands and thousands and thousands of kids have gone through this program, and hundreds have been affected just by this whole dental thing. And it's such an amazing organization. So I'm gonna stop talking and ask Kim, how did it start, Kim? How did Toomorrow Trust start?
It was interesting. When you're a social entrepreneur, especially one that keeps doing ventures in that space, when you see a problem in society, you cannot turn your back. You can't pretend it's not there. You have to do something.
Well, apparently your whole country does so.
Exactly. But with Toomorrow Trust, I'd been in nonprofit for about 16 years already, always in human rights and education, running Steven Spielberg Survivors of the Shoah Visual History Foundation for 18 years, sat on Human Rights Commission for Education, started an organization in Rwanda called Tolerance Foundation, teaching over 70,000 kids in South Africa. And I was taking a bit of a sabbatical and went out to see what someone else was doing in another province. And I'm what's called an Ashoka Fellow. And the fellows are out of Washington. It's a barometer of social entrepreneurs in the world. So Muhammad Yunus is a fellow. And it shows people doing unique, impactful work around the world. Went to see what he was doing, and he had taken an old coal mine and turned it into an AIDS orphan sanctuary with 10 kids in each house and a house mother. My first exposure to AIDS orphans. So I cried the entire day, And he said to me at the end, what can you do to help us? And I thought, what have I done? And I looked back at this body of work for 16 years and I thought, I've been part of the biggest oral history project in the world. Let's see what these kids are saying, because it wasn't my space. Did an oral history project, which was my first book, and that ended up being my research document, to say, these kids, there's a gap, that they're not being educated. Without education in your life, you can't do anything. You can't get a job. You're not literate. You're not numerate. You don't have the skills to enter society in a powerful manner.
And that's why this is such a critical thing, to educate these
Absolutely.
young kids.
The new stats out of South Africa are showing that over 80% are illiterate in grade 4. If you're illiterate in grade 4, you cannot get a job. You can't be a waiter. You can't do anything at all. And hence, Toomorrow Trust came about. What I was going to do is only for tertiary, for orphan and vulnerable kids. But then they would come to us. They couldn't get into a university because they weren't passing grade 12 well enough. So we went back to grade 10 to show crisis mode, to actually get them past schooling, and then they could get into a career that they really wanted to do. Their marks at school were not indicative of their potential. They just didn't have an opportunity. They didn't have the teachers. They didn't have the resources in order to do anything more. And eventually we went all the way back to K1, and now we go from K1 through to grade 12, into college, into university, and then the alumni.
And the coolest thing about this is that once these students graduate from college, they give back. And that helps to fund other kids to go through the program as well.
I think what's also very important to add is that there are thousands of people in the world doing degrees, becoming dentists, becoming doctors. What gives you cutting edge? And that's what we do at Toomorrow Trust with our students. We build them holistically. There's a self-mastery, the self-consciousness, so that they understand you have to bring more to the table. Your degree opens the door. It's the key. But what do you do with that? And you're a perfect example of that. You can be a dentist, but you're not just a dentist. You're so much more. You take it to another level. And that's what we teach them. And that's why they're successful. In a country with over 55% unemployment rate, we have 92% employment rate.
That's
of all
amazing.
Of our students.
And you know, the thing that's been really kind of an honor and a privilege for us is that from the very first day I met Kim, we have sponsored at least 2 students every year from Toomorrow Trust to come to the program. And this year, on our 10-year anniversary of LEAP, Kim gifted me this beautiful bound book of all of the beautiful kids that have come from South Africa and joined us for the LEAP program. But you have to understand, these kids come, some of them have never, not only been out of their country, been on an airplane. You know, they come and they spend a week in the dorms at UCLA, where our kids would think, like, dorms? To them, it's like they're in the Taj Mahal.
Right.
I mean, they've never seen anything like this.
The food
alone.
in the canteen was just incredible, that they would have a choice of what kind of food they could actually eat and not worry that there's no food at home.
Right.
It was just incredible. So the experience was beyond their dreams. Just to get on a plane and go to America was
Right.
incredible. And the give back that you spoke about earlier, I think that it's very important to share what you learn on your journey. For me, sitting here with you and being able to share my journey with anyone who's listening is a privilege. Because if we share, if I make the world a better place, it's better for everyone, as with you and anyone else, that
Right.
we should all join as a community and try to uplift everyone that we possibly can.
Absolutely. If people watching want to get more information on Toomorrow Trust, where would they go?
So the website is www.toomorrow.org.za, so org.za, and Toomorrow Trust is on Instagram, on Facebook.
And if you would like to be an active donor to Toomorrow Trust, there's a click of a button there where you can help sponsor some of these kids, not just for LEAP, but for life. I mean, and give them an opportunity to grow. So Kim recently, in the last year, has relocated to Atlanta. She's remarried, and we're very happy about that. She's married a lovely man, and is still running the foundation and still working. So if you could just kind of give us a glimpse of what's in the future for Toomorrow Trust.
Toomorrow Trust, please, God, that we just make more and more of an impact and grow more and more. And very excited for me because as you interviewed Brent, my son, we've started this whole new venture called With Love from Freddie, all based on Brent's books, Freeing Freddie. There's two new titles in the mix coming out, going to print, that raises money to go back to Toomorrow Trust, but impacts so many more. We do workshops around it. How do you face your fears? How do you build your dreams? So I'm very excited about the future, and just touching more lives is a blessing.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you will see Kim at LEAP this year. She's been there every year, and she'll have 2 beautiful students from South Africa with her. And with all my heart, I thank you not only for doing this interview, but for all the lives you've touched and all the amazing things you've done. You are truly an angel on this earth for what you've done.
And I have to say, you can't ever do this alone. You have to do this with partners. When you do it with people, the impact is greater, and you're one of those special partners. And that's why we do what we do. Thank you.
And anybody else out there who's watching that would like to get involved and help, please contact Kim through their site. With that, Dr. Bill, over and out.